This week, the aftermath of Chickamauga as the Union maneuvers itself to salvation. Despite my disregard for the Army of Tennessee, General Rosecrans is still worried and takes a defensive. However, his repulse in Georgia means that it's no longer just his choice. The Army of the Cumberland could be getting a new commander, and certainly won't ever be as independent as it once was. But what is its future? As I said, the Battle of Chickamauga's aftermath is what this week is about. Just hours after the battle, Major General Joseph Hooker, the disgraced commander of Chancellorsville, is sent to Chattanooga with 20,000 men. The same day, Burnside is ordered to move to support the Army of the Cumberland. On the 23rd, Lincoln meets with his advisors to discuss General Rosecrans. The meeting is officially had to decide how best to support the recently defeated general, though the question of his future employment does come up. While there is no action taken on Rosecrans' generalship, it's close to a career death sentence. On the 25th, General Burnside is chastised for not moving to Rosecrans' aid, with the Army of the Ohio's leader countering that he can't support the Army of the Cumberland without surrendering Knoxville to the rebels. On the 28th, General Rosecrans brings charges against two of his three corps commanders. Sorry, Granger, but a division and brigade isn't a corps. Alexander McCook and Thomas Crittenden are court-martialed and dragged before a court of inquiry for their actions at Chickamauga. I won't defend them. They were incompetent and cowards who fled the field. But so did Rosecrans, so this feels more like a shift of blame than a regular proceeding. On the 29th, Bragg does the same thing, court-martialing and bringing charges against Polk and Hinman. Polk, I get the indictment. He is a disobedient idiot. But Hinman, I'm not sure I agree with that characterization. He didn't do the best at Chickamauga, but this seems to be due to hurt feelings for criticism levied against the leader of the Army of Tennessee and the missed opportunity at Davis Cross Roads. Same day, Grant is sent to Rosecrans. Sherman has already been dispatched, but this is a clear indication that Rosecrans is under supervision. With Grant comes the 17th Corps, seriously reinforcing the position. This reinforcement makes an assault by Bragg impossible once they get there. Bragg could still win if he attacks now. And on October 1st, Confederate Cavalry General Joseph Wheeler departed with around 2.5 divisions to destroy the Army of the Cumberland's supplies. Though there is some action in Tennessee that doesn't revolve around Rosecrans and Bragg. Some revolves around Ambrose Burnside's expedition. His relatively peaceful Knoxville occupation claimed its namesake town, but that doesn't mean that the area around it was safe for the Federals. Major General Samuel James of the Confederacy controls the country around Knoxville, holding onto the valuable Virginia and Tennessee Railroad, which Burnside obviously wants. So to take it, Colonel John W. Foster of the Army of Ohio's cavalry is ordered to take a brigade and push the rebels out of the nearby Blount'sville. In a surprise assault, the Union takes the town after 4.5 hours, but is forced to retire. Foster suffered 27 casualties, the rebels 165. The final thing this week is a raid. I think we can all agree that the Confederates in Arkansas have had a terrible year. With the loss of Helena, the duel between Marmaduke and Walker, and oh yeah, the Federal Army of the Frontier returning the capital to the Union. Unsurprisingly, the string of losses has left the rebels on low morale. To rectify this, Colonel Joseph O. Shelby, a cavalry commander, recommends a raid deep into Missouri, a state that hasn't been involved in this war for over a year. Nevertheless, Shelby believes this raid could buy the army time, distract their pursuers, bring much-needed ammunition and food to the secessionist force, and raise the spirits of his comrades. Presenting the plan to Confederate Governor Reynolds of Missouri, he gets his approval. He crosses the Arkansas River silently on the 27th and begins towards Neosho, Missouri, a place where an illegal Assembly of Missouri politicians seceded. He is soon joined by fellow rebel ruffians who advance towards my home state. Then there are Sickles. As I mentioned last week, Sickles is slowly moving towards D.C. to testify about his conduct at Gettysburg. On the way, he stops at towns and gives speeches about his service because he's willing to lose all he has for. So by the time Sickles is on a train to Washington, he has the support of the people. That's where the week ends. Let's talk about Rosecrans. I appreciate the man as a general. The Tullahoma campaign was overshadowed by Gettysburg and Vicksburg, but like those two battles, it was perfect. Chickamauga is the first battle he lost, and people are already trying to replace him? McClellan wasted how many chances? Burnside 2 and Hooker? Lee was also only given one, and John Pope doesn't count. I think Rosecrans' way of war is unique. He isn't looking for a major battle or a siege. He's looking for a bloodless method of conflict. It's just not popular and quite risky. Rosecrans was only given his position because of a complex incident regarding General George Henry Thomas, probably one of the two people to replace him if he gets replaced. But let's be honest. The other is General Grant, another general I like, but I don't understand why he is so loved. Once again, I appreciate Grant, but at Shiloh, he did what Bragg did, lose more men, but hold the ground, and he suffered for it. but Lincoln did keep him on, so I don't know. Grant is possibly the top choice, but George Henry Thomas I think is equally likely. I also wouldn't mind him taking over. The man has never lost a battle, is a well-respected officer, is efficient in tactical battles. Thing is, he isn't an advertiser. I know that sounds good, as it means he doesn't have an ego, but I wonder if he will be able to get what the army needs over the latter generals. I don't know what will happen to Rosecrans right now, but the picture will become clearer next week. Hi, it's the entire Week by Week team here. I would just like to thank all of you for sticking around with me throughout college. I know the set's different. I know things have changed, and I'm no fan of change, but it means a lot that you guys are willing to move through it with me. If you liked the video, please like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I hope to see you next week.